The longest 2 weeks in living memory are finally over. Football is back this Friday. We're all here for it on the Blue Monday podcast. Hello and welcome to the Blue Monday podcast discussing Ipswich Town up or down since 2015. I'm Richard Woodard and welcome back. Welcome bloody back to the Prematch Show, brought to you in partnership with our friends at the Greyhound Pub in Ipswich. You can catch us every week live on YouTube and after the fact on podcast at your convenience. And joining me to chat all about Rotherham on a Friday night. It's Wednesday night when we record, and Seb, I thought it was already Thursday, and I've ruined my week by that feeling when you think, oh, it's a week near the weekend. Seb Brown is here, everyone. Do you feel my pain? Do you know whether you're coming or going at the moment?
Yeah, weekends without club football is rubbish. I don't know if we became a bit immune to it in the last couple of years. I know Lambert used to call games off, but I don't know if we kind of built up a tolerance to it in kind of previous years because the football was so crap when we were, fighting under Hurst, etc. But yeah, it's rubbish. What do people do? I had to paint a bathroom on Saturday. I've never been so bored in my life. It's rubbish.
I had a cold.
It needs to stop. Yeah, my heating went on last night for the first time. So yeah, cold.
No, actually, I had a cold.
Again.
You
had a cold. Sorry, right.
As soon as the football stops, my kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? My body just gave up.
Your immune system can't cope.
My immune system, without like a pint at the Greyhound or a moan on Twitter or something. It's not a moan at the moment, is it? It's joy on Twitter.
I think there's a word for that if your body can't cope without alcohol.
Oh, yeah, that's hello to our fellow sufferers out there. Let us know you're there. As I said, we are live. We will come and have a chat with you guys and put some comments up. Give us the most boring thing you did in the last 2 weeks. Can you outbore Seb on paying a bathroom? But we are here to talk about Rotherham. We'll do a bit of a news catch up, although the guys did a great job of that on Sunday. But let's say hello to some folks. Let's say it's Charlie gets there first. Love that, Charlie. Well done. Gary's with us. What a miserable night. I assume weather-wise, Gary, but
give us a chance, Gary. We've not started yet.
Start with him. Look at him. England game, says Charlie, are very, very dull compared to us. They are. I mean, last week's Italy was all right, wasn't it? Like, on Tuesday night, Wednesday night, that was all right, wasn't it? So, not all bad. Come on, Seb, say something.
Yeah, well, Australia game was crap. The Italy game last night was exciting, but watching 2 games of football in a 14-day period is rubbish.
Yes. Evening to Jules. Evening to Neil. I'm glad I cancelled training, and in the dry. Evening to Tim, but everywhere I think Tim, but certainly is in Devon. Hello to Frank. Hello to Eric. I'm the grandfather. You'll have to explain that one to me. That's gone way over my head. Evening to Rob. Evening to Paul. Carnivore Nation. Evening all. Tractor Grandad. Evening to you. Ed's with us from Aguabar in Jordan. There you go. Grandfather. Congrats, Eric. If that's new news, congratulations to you from everyone here at Blue Monday. Fantastic stuff. We've got Horseholler is in a cloudy Brooklyn. Baron is with us. Michael's in Brisbane. What's the weather like, Michael? You forgot to tell us what the weather is like and make us feel jealous. The universe doesn't care. That's a great name. Solly in Kent. There was some half-decent rugby. It's the ball's the wrong shape, Robert. We can't talk about rugby. And evening to Rodders as well. Bit tardy tonight, he says. Well, you're only 4 minutes late. It's fine, Rodders. We're not keeping count. Don't worry about it. And Bluey, I think, sums it up. Not look forward to a Friday as much as this brought a long bloody time, Seb. I said the B word a couple of times there, haven't I? Let's wrap up the 2 weeks in terms of internationals and brilliant news. Congrats to Massimo Luongo and Cameron Burgess, albeit playing in the wrong colours. I think we've had the yellow versus gold debate, so we can put that one to bed. But fantastic for them. Fantastic, I think, for the club, that we've got players performing on the biggest stages, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's a testament to the hard work these guys have put in. Cameron Burgess joined us from Accrington. I think many of us questioned him with, if he got turned on the halfway line, he was in trouble. McKenna's come in and he's a completely different player. And I think a few of us, myself included, were guilty in the summer of writing him off a little bit and thinking that was a position that we need to upgrade. And here we are a few weeks later, and he's playing up front against marking Ollie Watkins at Wembley, and delighted for him. And obviously for Massimo as well. 4 years, is it 3 years, 4 years after his last cap, he's back in the fold. I guess not the best of news with us with the I can't remember what it's called, the cup. It's not the Oceania
Asia
Cup,
Cup.
the Asia Cup, thank you, on the not too distant horizon. But delighted for these guys. Gave a good account of himself last night. Apparently, we'll get to see if we'll discuss if he's going to be kind of available in terms of would you start him against Rotherham. But really, really delighted for him. Gave a good account. Subbed after about 68 minutes, wasn't it? So he's had a bit of a rest, and absolutely delighted for them both. A reward for the real hard work they've put in over the last 18 months or so.
Yeah, Michael, we're saying Mass play with the biggest smile ever. Yeah, I think he does generally, but even more so playing for your country. We're saying we've got the flip side situation. Wes Burns obviously out for an unknown point of time. At the point we record, I think is he having the scan today or is it on
Yes.
Thursday?
I think the scan's today or tomorrow, isn't it? And they're hopeful that it won't require surgery, which makes it weeks rather than months. If it is surgery, it's months.
Other edge of the sword, isn't it? Of players being called up for their countries. I guess it.
And Paul Wes Burns, he always goes away with Wales and always comes back injured, doesn't he? I guess last time we got a bit of there's the hamstring concern at the end of the October break. So that's the September break. So hopefully it's better news than we're all expecting, and hopefully it is just weeks rather than months.
Stop breaking our players, Wales, for goodness sake. And some of the younger players also got some minutes as well for the under 21s. And did Dane Scarlett play for the under 19s?
It's the England Elite League. I don't really know what that is. I'm not going to lie. You need Joe in for this one, don't you? Yeah, he played for the England Elite League against Portugal, subbed after 66 minutes. He played there previous week as well. I think he won and missed a penalty, didn't he, in that game, I think. So, and Kieran Slecker won his 11th Scotland under 21 cap in their 2-1 victory over Malta. So, a couple of the kids getting decent run outs, and obviously the Aussies doing themselves proud as well.
Yeah, good stuff. The universe doesn't care. I'm going to say it every time. The universe doesn't care, Seb, about you and your choices. Hutchinson's chance to shine. Yeah, we talk about the depth of the squad, and Hutchinson has obviously had a lot of opportunities so far, but this could be a great one for him to kind of do a Brandon Williams and make that shirt his own. We'll talk more about Freddie later on. Eric, thank you for the heads up on that one. Paul, great fixture on Friday to emerge from the international break. Could struggle but still win. We'll talk more about that. And obviously Rotherham in a not too dissimilar situation to us and actually got injuries of their own. So we will give you more insights on Rotherham shortly. Baron, was that the Aussie game last night? Massimo was a stand-up performer for his 65 minutes on the pitch. Love that. And evening to David. And congratulations to Carbos. Apologies if I pronounced your name wrong. I just thought I'd go for the most exotic sounding pronunciation I could. My local women's team qualified for the Champions League group stage this evening. Fantastic for them. I assume your local team might be a Arsenal or something like that, but if it's not, if it's a unknown or a lesser known team, then let us know who that is, because Champions League football is something that I'm sure ITFC women have got ambitions in the longer term, but at the moment we'll have to deal with the FA Women's National League Southern Premier Division, and they're off to Chatham Town. I'm on the bus to Chatham on Sunday, Seb, with the drum.
It'll be like the football factory, the scene in there.
Exactly like that on the crappy old bus. No, well, I think we're being looked after on Saturday on a lovely little coach. So I'll have you met me mate Stanley? No, I won't go there. But defeat last time out, a couple of weeks gap for the women's team as well. Late defeat to Oxford, who are just slugs, just can't beat Oxford away at least. So we'll be looking to bounce back, and Chatham not the best, and according to Seb, winless this season. So we hope for positivity and a bounce back for the Tractor Girls on Sunday. Rotherham, Seb, we are nearly at 10 minutes. It feels like a good opportunity to start talking about Friday's game. And I guess the headline for Rotherham is fantastic that they're still in the Championship. Maybe made it over the line by the skin of their teeth, although with a few weeks to spare, I think. April time, I think they secured their Championship survival. But probably one of the teams that is expected to struggle, and at the moment it's going to form, really, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah, you, me, and Gab did our 1 to 24s back in the summer, and I think a lot of people, not just because it's an easy win, a lot of people would have labelled Rotherham as one of the sides to get relegated. They did well last season. You could argue they kind of punched above their weight. I know points deductions for the likes of Reading and Wigan kind of helped them, but they did finish 6 points clear of the drop zone and had a managerial change fairly early on in the season, which we'll discuss. So, from a kind of a last season perspective, to finish where they did and with a big upheaval, kind of at managerial level, has to be applauded. But this isn't a side that traditionally, survives a long time in the Championship. I looked at their average kind of finish since they kind of established themselves up there and became this yo-yo side back in 2014-15, and their average finish is 22nd. So it's a club that does tend to drift between the two leagues, and I guess this season maybe is a bit of a regression to the norm, given they kind of overpunched a little bit last year, I think.
But as always in the Championship, to your point, there are dysfunctional teams who might help them out, right?
Yeah, potentially. I guess they're a well-run club. I think everyone would say that about Rotherham. I think there was one year, Ben always referred to it. Do you remember there was one year they were the only club in the league to make any kind of profit, and they still went down that year. So they're off the pitch, they are a well-run side. But yeah, this is kind of what the level they find themselves at. They've kind of hit that ceiling, and they've got a bit of a scrap this year to make sure they stay out of it. They'll assume Sheffield Wednesday will take one of the spots, given they're a bit of a basket case.
Oh,
I guess
new manager.
Maybe so, but I think as long as potentially the ownership issues are going on there, there's always going to be a crisis brewing at that club. But they've still got these two other spots, and I've got a feeling they're going to be occupying one of them come May.
Yeah, we should see. But as you say, a lot to like about Rotherham, and at League One level, they are a very potent force.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll talk about our history against them, which isn't in recent times particularly good, but that was because it was at League One level. But I just remember that 2-0 defeat under Cook, where they just came and scored us. It was kind of an October or November Tuesday night, and we just didn't lay a glove on them. And they're really effective at that level, but just don't have either the willingness and the ambition to invest to try and sustain themselves in the Championship, or just can't. And they're always, unfortunately, going to be a small club at Championship level when you compare them to the big parachute teams, aren't you? So, fair play to them for what they achieved last season, but maybe a bit of a change of strategy is required if they're going to sustain second-tier football longer than a couple of seasons at a time. But you never know. It might happen this season. Give us the state of play from their games so far, 11 played so far.
Yeah, so they're currently 23rd, so second bottom in the league, 6 points from the 11 games they've played. Only one win so far this season, 3 draws, 7 losses, scored 10 goals, conceded 22. That's the most goals conceded in the league. Their home form is the stuff that's relevant for us making the trip up to Yorkshire on Friday night. They've taken 5 points from the 5 games. They did win against Norwich at a time when Norwich were doing okay. I think that was early September time when Norwich were better than they are now. Had draws at home against Preston and Blackburn, and defeats at home to Leicester and Bristol City. Their XG of just over 6 is the worst in the league, so it's not a side that's creating many good quality chances. 8 big chances created so far this season is 22nd in the league, and the 6 they've missed is also 22nd. So the stats are there to be seen. They don't score enough goals. They don't create enough high quality chances.
Yep. Carboys supports Bran, if I again pronounce that correctly, beating Glasgow FC 6-0. So congratulations to Bran. They'll be playing Champions League football this season, I think. And Charlie D has confirmed the England Elite League is formerly the under-20. Right. Thank you, Charlie. We've corrected ourselves as we've gone along, which is exactly, there's so much knowledge in the chat. So when we go wrong, you need to tell us, folks. We'll happily correct ourselves. Should we talk about last time out? 2-week gap for them as well, and not a bad result last time out, was it?
No, they were battered. It was, do you remember, like on Football Manager, you'd play those games where you absolutely hammer a side, and then they end up getting a jammy point, and that you feel incredibly frustrated and want to smash your laptop and kind of save, quit, and reboot the game. It was like that. They drew 1-1 away at Southampton. They went behind after 2 minutes, and then they absolutely got battered. Like I said, 20% possession, an XG of 0.14 versus Southampton's 3.23, only 4 shots compared to Southampton's 22, only 198 passes compared to Southampton's 800. I guess if you ask Siri, show me a typical Russell Martin performance, it would just show those kind of stats, wouldn't it? But they equalised. Jordan Hugel lobbed Gavin Bassino in the second half, lovely goal, and they hung on and they got a point. They made a tactical change. They kind of lined up with a 4 at the back and switched to a 3, which is how we kind of remember them from those League One days. And they rode their luck. Keeper made some big saves, and they managed to get out of town with a point, which the stats, completely go the other way. But fair play, that's a decent point going into national break, because they wouldn't have held much hope going to St Mary's at all, because Southampton had just turned that corner, hadn't they? They'd beaten Leeds and was it Swansea? I think I can't remember who it was, but they just turned the corner and probably feared the worst after going behind so early, but they stuck in there and managed to get out of town with a point.
Yeah, well, when it's your team that does it, it's so much fun. But if you're a Southampton fan, as you say, when it happens against you, it's the worst. We do have some breaking news, Seb, which I'll get your reaction for. Zumba managerial news: Gary Rowett gone from Millwall. I haven't got a statement as such, but I can confirm that Millwall currently 15th in the Championship, only 4 wins so far this season. Really kind of up and down form, really.
Yeah, they can't get going, can they? I mean, they've had a huge upheaval in the summer with the tragic passing of the owner. So they've had a lot of stuff off the field to deal with. Rowett can't get going. Why would you do it 72 hours before the games restart? That makes no sense at all. You think those kind of decisions would be made kind of going, the Monday after the final weekend for the international break. I don't understand why you'd wait this long and then do it. So that's a strange one. I guess the usual names will be linked. Maybe John Eustace will fancy coming straight back in. I'm not sure, but yeah, they haven't been able to get going at all this season. And I guess that's the world we live in. These international breaks, as Ben often refers to, can be real graveyards for managers, can't they?
Yeah,
but it's weird to do it so.
Timing is strange, isn't it?
Yeah, it's strange to do it so far into the break. You think you do that on the Monday, announce someone on the Tuesday, and they've got 10 days to get some stuff into the squad on the training pitch. So a strange one.
It's a FC mutual consent type situation, and their statement includes a quote from Rowett himself.
Okay, so
the chairman says, "We greatly appreciate Gary's efforts throughout his time in charge, and he departs with the best wishes of everybody connected with the club." And Gary Rowett added, "Firstly, I would like to thank the fans for their support during the time of my club. The atmosphere they create is unique. I've thoroughly enjoyed being manager of Millwall and depart with the feeling that the club has progressed during my tenure. As is sometimes the case in football, the time just feels right to part ways," which you don't usually get a quote from the manager when these kind of things happen. But a situation going on there, and we will keep you posted if anything happens. But you do it, I think, Seb, because you've got someone else lined up who you think
there must be somebody who will be announced tomorrow. I assume they'll have something ready to go, and it's still strange how short notice it is with the game starting at the weekend. But there we go. That's the world of the Championship.
That's football, guys. Yeah, keep us posted if any other managers get sacked. I mean, obviously Mark Kennedy lost his job at Lincoln earlier on as well. So maybe, or he's ex-Millwall, isn't he, Mark Kennedy? I think someone will correct me if I've gone wrong there. So maybe he's failed upwards at, I don't know. Keep us posted if anyone else loses their job, as I say. But yeah, very strange situation going on at Millwall. And poor Gary Rowett, I kind of feel Gary Rowett gets harshly sacked. He was sacked really.
Was he the guy that was sacked? Zola. Yeah,
Birmingham.
And then
their fans.
They've done it again in the last 2 weeks. So yeah, very strange, isn't it?
No pressure, Wayne. Let's get back to Rotherham. We talked about that last season, Seb. The one punching above their weight and survival. And you talked about the managerial situation there as well. A lot of kind of controversy, or not controversy, but Paul Warne obviously making the step down to Derby. Maybe surprised a few.
Step down in league level, not in terms of club. Yeah. I think we all would have done the same thing.
Pyramid, maybe not. And then Mark Bonner was linked quite heavily with that job and didn't get it in the end. And Cambridge's form really fell off, didn't it? But talk to us about the boss at Rotherham. And do you want to give us any bits and pieces about last season as well?
So like I said earlier, they managed to stay up. They finished 19th, finished on 50 points, which was 6th clear of the relegation zone. It was September time when Gary Rowett, obviously Liam Rosini got the Derby job in the summer as a temporary manager, whatever weird title they gave him. And then Paul Warne kind of shifted across from Rotherham with his entire backroom staff. He took everybody with him, didn't he, to Pride Park. A step down in terms of division, but definitely a step up in terms of, career progression and stuff. And then Mark Bonner, as far as everyone's concerned, has got the job, and for whatever reason he turns it down to stay at Cambridge, and like you say, their form drops off a cliff, and they go for Matt Taylor from Exeter. It takes a while. There's a good sort of 2.5 week gap between Warne leaving and then bringing the new guy in. It's negotiations which were amicable. All the statements said, we get there to delay the announcement by 24 hours because there was some legal tidying up to do, but everything remained amicable, and he was unveiled as the new manager and does okay. He signed a 4-year deal, so clearly they've put some faith behind him. He wins 38 points from his 38 games in charge and kind of sees them across the line. Like I said, the points deduction for Reading helped. If they hadn't, they'd have finished on 50 points as well as Rotherham did, but he's done okay. He's come in there, and that side was really built in Warne's own image, wasn't it? Three big strapping centre halves, Michael Smith or an equivalent up front. Yeah, big boys throughout the team, and they were kind of like physically bully you and school you, like you said. Being schooled is the term used. That's exactly right. And I guess it was a squad in his own image, and Taylor did well, I think, to come in and kind of try and maybe be a bit more expansive. I guess they've got an eye with maybe changing the way kind of things are played with shipping out. With Will Ward leaving, it's a chance to reset things a little bit. I think he did well last season and deserved credit for it.
Yeah. Well, should we talk about our history with them? I've already mentioned that 2-0. We'll skip over that because last time we played them, Seb, let's remind everyone of A, how good we are, and B, we can win in the cups, can't we?
Yeah, 4-1 in the FA Cup third round back in January. The third round, which we'll be going into this year. None of this first or second round rubbish like we've seen for the last...
Was it last week? That was happening in the
this time last year we just drawn Bracknell, hadn't we? So yeah, a much nicer world to be in. Yeah, January time we beat them 4-1 in the cup. Humphreys, Chaplin, Ladapo, and Wesburn's penalty. So that was one of those nights that we kind of realised, oh, hang on, if we weren't in the best of form in the league at that time, but we kind of played them and Burnley in the FA Cup and thought to ourselves, well, if we do go up, we give a good account of ourselves against sides further up the food chain. So it kind of boosted confidence a little bit. The last game at Rotherham was the 1-0 defeat back in April 2022. At that point, we couldn't go up. I think it was on Sky, wasn't it? On a Saturday lunchtime, if I remember rightly. The highlight of that game was Wolverhampton going on this amazing run. They win it fairly late on. Michael Smith scores with about 10 minutes to go or so as they close in on getting promoted back to the Championship. And we kind of wanted the season to be over at that point because we knew we couldn't get in the playoffs. Our last league win up there was our last league win against them was at home. Will Keane scored in January 2019, one of Paul Lambert's only 3 victories, I think, that season after he took charge. And we've had a mixed bag of results at the New York Arena, haven't we? We had a 2-0 defeat.
Arenas, New York Arena,
is Stadium, sorry, Stadium, yeah. Isn't it? Yeah.
The arena makes it think you're like 90,000 seats, like the Sphere in Vegas or something. Yeah, not quite.
Very different. They, we've got a 2-0 defeat in the playoff season. Connor Salmon, who was crap for us for half a year, went there and promptly scored against. I think we were both there for that one. Then a year later, we had the 5-2 victory, the Murphy hat-trick. He hadn't scored all season, and we went and battered them 5-2. And then we had the famous, well, not the famous, maybe the sliding doors moment for Paul Hurst. We lose 1-0 in the 90th minute in his second game in charge, his first away game. Played all right on the day, but a free kick and a towering header from Michael Smith sees us lose that one, and I guess he never really recovered. I've got one of my famous quiz questions for you because I know you hate these. The 5-2 game in 2015, we were both there. How many of the lineup? I've given you one. How many of the lineup can you get? This is the season after the playoff season.
Help me out, chat. Help me out.
I've given you one. I told you who's got a hat trick.
Yeah, well, I've got 10 to go. Pittman.
Yep.
Bart in goal, presumably.
Nope.
Oh, Gherkin in goal, was it?
Yeah.
Wow. Knudsen.
Yep.
Chambo.
Yep.
Legend. I can't even remember who our centre backs are.
Oh, it's easy. Same as the playoff season.
Oh, Berra and Smith.
Yep.
Fraser, says Neil.
Nope. Must have been injured.
We've got Berra though.
3-man centre. It's a 4-3-3. So you need
Scoose.
2. Yes.
Douglas scored in that game, didn't he? Didn't he score on the Ranger?
Yeah. Do you want some? Yeah. Dougie played.
Douglas. Yeah. Scoose and
You're doing all right. Two more.
2 more. Was it a 4-3-3 then? Was it?
Yeah. 1 central midfielder and 1 striker / converted winger by Mick McCarthy, who didn't score for about 30 games.
Oh, wow. That's not helped me out at all.
Do you want to give you the answers?
Hyam, says Chris.
No.
And give us some clues.
One was he was an international for, I want to say the Maldives, but I don't think it was. That's no help whatsoever.
Larson Torre?
No, he was on the bench.
Oh, Kevin Brew.
There you go. Yeah, was it the Maldives?
No, I don't think it was. But
you got one. So just one to go. Just one up front. There it is. The guy.
Andy was there. Ryan. Wow. There's 4 people in going. Well, Sears, Rich, bloody Sears. Yeah. And then here come the Brews as well. Yeah. Thank you everyone for the chat. Well, I've got a quiz for you guys as well. I found a moment in Ipswich Town history where quite an entertaining game against Mauritius. There you go. Thank you, Neil.
Thanks,
so there
Neil.
you go. Or Seychelles, says Rodders. I think it's Mauritius. I'm pretty comfortable. It's Mauritius. I've got a commentary quiz. These continue to be a piece of piss, but it's just a bit fun, Seb. Enjoy it.
Oh, lovely work from Curry. One of the best moments of the night so far, that. There's a player brimming with confidence. Here he is. Thought he was going to have a shot. Magilton. Will Magilton have a shot? Here he goes. It's a goal! Jim Magilton. No goals for 17 months. Now he's scored 2 goals in 2 games.
the fixture, the scoreline, the date, and any other interesting information. We'll come back and finish that off before we talk about Ipswich in relation to Friday's game as well. I love how we've gone from Peter Drury to Foz, bless him. And I like the here he goes, as in like the ball, it's going to move. Look, it's going to move like Mitchell and Webb. So, yeah, we've got a decent history, at least at the most recent fixture between the two clubs, and probably, the good acid test, really, because I think the squad is we'll talk about the current squad, but pretty good indication, I think, of the strength of the two teams, probably. We talked about Taylor. Anything you want to add on Matt Taylor, the boss?
No, not really. Obviously, he's best known for his spell at Exeter. Had a playoff defeat with them and then ends up taking them up second. I think they finished and took him up to League One. He's used to working with kind of no money whatsoever. So is that maybe a reason they've kind of appointed him? And like I said, maybe look to play a bit more expansive. Well, it's very hard to compare the two, but the last full season Paul had at Rotherham versus the last full season that Taylor had at Exeter. Exeter had more possession, nearly 10% more possession across the season, more shots on goal, more goals scored. So maybe they're looking to try and change things a little bit since Warren moved on.
Yeah, well, talk to us about the arrivals then, because quite a few, not a huge amount of money spent, but some pedigree in there, I guess. That's the word.
Yeah, 11 arrivals, only one fee paid. They paid £1 million for Sam Nombe, who's joined him from Exeter. He was his main striker at Exeter, 23 goals in 76 games in his time at Exeter with Taylor as his boss. He's yet to score in 7 appearances so far this season for Rotherham, only 2 starts though. So £1 million. I think he's 23, 24 years old. So they'll kind of have designs on him, I guess, to kind of score some goals and maybe look to make a bit of a profit on him in the upcoming summers. Fred Onidima is on loan from Luton. He can play either side of the 3 behind the main striker, so either left wing attacking or right wing attacking. Quite pacey, he can be a bit of a threat. We'll discuss his kind of numbers in a bit. Andre Green, ex-Villa, joined from Slovan Bratislava. I had no idea he went out there. He's very inconsistent by all accounts. Again, he can play either left or right on the wing. Very inconsistent. No goals, no assists so far this season, so hasn't hit the ground running. And they brought in some experience, so we'll discuss the players that moved on in a minute. But Cafu comes in from Forest. Grant Hall comes in. Sam Klukas, the Welsh ex-Welsh, the Welsh ex-international, comes in from Stoke. So they've kind of added a bit of experience to replace some of the players that moved on. But £1 million for them on a striker is a pretty decent outlay, isn't it?
Yeah, one player as well. It's
it's a statement. Yeah,
it is a statement. And maybe there's a situation with the Anya Dimmer loan from Luton. Maybe they felt guilty getting Ogbenena free, which frankly was pretty crap business from Rotherham. Their key player last season, 8 goals, 4 assists. Yeah. Letting him go for nothing, and maybe Luton felt a bit guilty about that. But other players that we know from that Rotherham team have departed over the, that Paul Warne team, the Dan Barlazers of this world, have moved on. And then others, Ben Wiles is another player that I liked, and I think was linked maybe creatively on Twitter rather than anything concrete there. But Ben Wiles has moved on to Huddersfield.
Yeah, he went to Huddersfield, undisclosed fee. He made 27 appearances last season. Connor Washington went to Derby, 35 appearances last season. Sure. Wes Harding on a free to the now managerless Millwall. Richard Wood was still playing there. I remember being linked with him under Roy Keane. I don't know what.
You were linked with him?
No, us, Ipswich.
You said I was linked with him, but anyway.
I remember us being linked with him under Roy Keane.
This is a Football Manager save that you've kind of pretended is real life, and I think I've had one of those moments. But anyway.
That alone must be 15 years ago or so. So between those players we've just listed, it was 684 league appearances out the door for their time at Rotherham. So it's a huge shift of kind of the experienced players who have been schooled under Paul Warne for ages. Is it a case of a chance to clear the decks a little bit and kind of bring in players with a look to maybe develop them? I was interested. Obviously, we know Exeter is a really good selling side in terms of Ethan Ampadu, Ollie Watkins, Matt Grimes. So I was looking and see, was Taylor responsible for those kind of development and sales? And he wasn't around for some of the big ones, but there were a couple still he was involved in. So I thought, is there one eye on this as bringing in this younger manager who can kind of maybe take a Sam Nombe for £1 million, get him to score 10 goals in the Championship, and we look to shift him for $3 million in a couple of summers' time. I didn't know if it was a bit of a change of overall strategy,
the trading
for the club as well as a managerial strategy. Because, like you say, losing a talent like Ogbonna is to lose him to a Premier League side for no fee is awful business by them, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you mentioned the possible attempt to evolve the playing style. Talk just about the formation. Is a back 4, isn't it? And maybe a bit of a 4-3-3/4-5-1 going on.
Yeah, 4-3-3 has been used the most, 7 times this season. 4-5-1 was used last time in the siege at St Mary's. They're not a side that look to retain possession. 34% possession is the worst in the league. They're still not exactly an expansive playing side. 212 short passes per game is the fewest in the league. Not as long ball as I was expecting under Warren. They probably would have been kind of top of the list for most of the long ball metrics, but 67 long balls per game is only 9th. They like to attack down that right hand side, so keep an eye out for Andre Green or the right back Dexter Lembiksa. He likes to get forward as well. He's pacey and direct, so a lot of their attacks come down that right hand side. But they did switch to a back three about 25, 35 minutes into the game against Southampton. So they have got that flexibility in game if it's not going well to kind of shift things around a little bit. So don't be surprised to see that change if things aren't going to plan.
You mentioned that right hand side and Andre Green in particular, the threat he carries. Any other players that you mentioned? The obvious one is Hugo.
Yeah.
One of these players that you kind of admire from afar and really hope signs for your team.
We were linked, weren't we?
And then they signed for Norwich, which like James Maddison was like that when he was at Cov. So of all the places you can go, bloody Norwich. But it sounded like he didn't have a particularly happy time there. So I don't know. It's not like he'll be looking to rub our noses in it, but
he loves a bit of. He loves a bit of S. Housery, doesn't he? As a central striker, he likes a bit of S. Housery. So he's got 3 goals so far this season, 2 really good ones, a worldie strike against Preston and that lob I mentioned against Southampton. So I think he did a conference or an interview this week saying he'd quite like to score a tap in to make it a bit of an easy one for him. Ollie Rathbone and Cafu will kind of sit in central midfield. Cafu's got a wicked set piece delivery on him, so watch out for that from corners. We've discussed Onidima on loan from Fulham. He's from Luton. He's got 2 goals and 1 assist. Been carrying a calf injury, so potentially a bit of a doubt. They've got Hakeem Odafin, who's been nursing a hamstring injury, central midfielder, 25 years old. He scored the goal that kept them up last season so far this season. And you're a fan of the goalkeeper, aren't you?
Yeah, I've described, not my words, Seb, the best,
not my words,
the best in the second tier. But yeah, I think I'm surprised he stayed, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, and now getting an international cap with Sweden, so yeah, very much a high profile signing. I think played quite well against us, if I remember rightly. In that, was he in that 2-0? The 1-0 game at Rotherham that you talked about, the way Wolfenden went on walkabout. I think he played in that game. It was pretty good. Worth noting, and it's obviously a really tragic and crappy situation. He was part of the Sweden squad that was in Brussels on Monday for where this terrorist incident kicked off. Yeah. So I'm not sure he's back in the country yet, but obviously they'll want to look after him and make sure he's he's in a good state of mind, because that's a really horrible thing for anyone to go through. And yeah, we obviously send our thoughts out to everyone affected by that, because it's the football at its kind of worst, isn't it? Football can be brilliant, and then it's moments like this. So yeah, we wish him all the very best, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see whether he features on Friday. And there are other question marks as well about, we talked about the players that should feature in the key players set, but there's going to be a lot of players that are going to be question marks or absentees, aren't there, because of these injuries?
Yeah, they were a man short against Southampton on the bench. They weren't able to put out a full complement of substitutes. And I guess when you've got a squad kind of the size of theirs, all it takes is 1 or 2 injuries long term, and you're kind of down to the bare bones immediately, aren't you? Shane Ferguson is a name a lot of people will remember. Kind of, was it Newcastle? I think he came through ex-Millwall left winger. He was pretty good for them last season. 3 goals, 5 assists in 31 games. He's a long-term absentee. They have a Cameron Humphreys, who is a strapping, large centre-back, very different to our diminutive, classy midfielder. Injured his hamstring against Preston, and he'll be out for a large chunk of the season. Taylor Blackett, ex-Man United, centre-back, got a hamstring injury again. He's out. Sean Morrison is a doubt, signed on last January, I think it was. He got injured
January,
2 games into his Rotherham career. So he's still a long-term injury. And they've got Jamie Lindsay, who's a central midfielder, has got an Achilles problem, so unlikely to feature. And Grant Hall and Lee Peltier, they came back against Southampton. Hall is now a doubt again with a hip issue, one of their summer signings. And Peltier must be 35, 36 years old. So yeah, if you've got a bit of pace about you running it, they could be in trouble.
Yeah. Do you want to give us some stats to finish off with?
Like we said, the percentage is rubbish, but 36% is the bottom of the league. 65% passing accuracy is the second worst. They only average 7 shots per game, which is the second worst. Only 2 on target is also the second worst. Threat from set pieces still, so there's still a bit of the old Rotherham in there. 3 of their 7 home goals have come from set pieces. Like I said,
that triggered the Stoke fans, Seb. Be careful about that.
To be fair. Cafu, like I said, has got a pretty decent set piece delivery on him. No clean sheets so far this season, averaging 2 goals against per game, no clean sheets so far in the league so far this year. 15 shots conceded per game is the 4th highest. So although they might try and stifle, they're not very good at it, judging from the stats. And this was an interesting one, I thought. Their fouls committed and their fouls against are both the 9 fouls conceded per game is the 5th lowest, and the 7 fouls won per game is the lowest in the league. So, under Paul Warne, I always thought they were a streetwise kind of side who were, they would take advantage of more naive sides, which I guess you could label against us. I think maybe they've lost a little bit of that Housery kind of part since he's moved on, and maybe they need to look to get that back, because the Rotherham side with 7 fouls won as the lowest in the league shouldn't be right at all, I don't think.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? You kind of, if you're going for a purist model, then these sneaky fouls, but the kind of players
that it's part of the game, isn't it? Now you have to do it.
Yeah, but the players that would do that have gone.
Yeah, exactly.
Wiles and Barlaser were the kind of combative central midfielders. They're not part of that team. Even Washington up front was a bit of a noise. You got Hugel perhaps, but he's not going to drop in, is he? So
no.
Yeah, maybe they're too honest, to your point, Seb, and
a lack of unstreetwise.
Not up for the fight. We have my commentary quiz has either fallen flat on its ass, or people don't know what it is.
I think I know it.
Shall I play the commentary again, or shall I just go for the goal?
Dealer's choice.
I'll just go for the goal. You've got until the image comes up on the screen to give your guess, and here we go.
Oh, lovely work from Curry. One of the best moments of the night so far, that. As a player brimming with confidence. Here he is. Thought he was going to have a shot. Magilton. Will Magilton have a shot? Here he goes. It's a goal! Jim Magilton. No goals for 17 months. Now he's scored 2 goals in 2 games.
It's a goal, Seb. It's in the goal. Care to have a guess?
I think it's the 4-3 in April 2005, where we were 3-0 or 4-0 up, and they brought on Jamal Campbell-Rice for his.
He started.
Did he start? Did he?
He was subbed
and he
off.
Was really young, and we kind of imploded for a little bit, and somehow we still won the game. But there were times in the second half I thought we're really going to mess this up.
Do you know who was playing for Rotherham apart from Jamal Campbell-Rice?
No. Oh, probably Paul Hurst.
Paul Hurst was playing for Rotherham. Yeah. Goals from Westlake, double from Darren Bent and Jim Magilton. 5th of April 2005. So correct season 04-05. Ipswich 4, Rotherham 3. And Rod is quite rightly pointing out we're going up against the bake-off. It's like the reverse of the England situation last night. I love people pissed off that England Channel 4 kicked the bake-off out of the way for the England match. And now I've realised that we've gone up against the juggernaut that is Bake Off. Never mind. Let's talk about us, Seb. We've already talked about Burns and the likelihood that he won't be featuring and hoping for weeks, not months on the sidelines. We've got Burgess and Luongo back from international duty, albeit they've played in this country, not in the Southern Hemisphere.
Yeah.
We've also heard about doubt to Freddie Ladapo. You can give us more information on that as well. And we've heard that Tuan Zabi may feature, but probably not. Is hoping to feature in the next few weeks, but it's unlikely to play on Friday, we suggest. Yeah. Give us your thoughts on what this team might look like.
So I guess with Burns, it's either a straight swap for Hutchinson or Jackson, isn't it? Or maybe do you go Harness for the energy? I've got vibes of Huddersfield a little bit for this game, because it's going to be pissing it down with rain. It's going to be cold. They'll go more direct. I'm not as worried because it's not a new manager bounce, and obviously it's not Darren Moore, who has kind of found out how to kind of frustrate us over the last couple of years. So I'm not as worried, but I don't think it's going to be. We've just painted a picture of them being absolutely rubbish, which they are, given the stats and stuff so far this season. But I don't think it's going to be completely straightforward. So I guess, do you go for Hutchinson to try and provide a moment of magic and unlock a defence? Do you go for Jackson to look to stretch the game and get in behind if their left fullback is going to be overly advanced, which I'm not sure he's going to be? Or do you go for Harness for the energy and the pressing and the fact he probably deserves a start because he's played so well recently? It's an interesting dilemma to have. I think if it was me, I would go Hutchinson for that moment of magic, and I like him on that right-hand side, cutting in onto his left. He did it time and time again against Huddersfield, and eventually kind of was involved in the pre-assist, which you love, for the Brandon Williams goal. So I think I'd go Hutchinson. Massimo, I would start him if he's okay. Stubbed at 68 minutes. Like you say, he's not travelled anywhere. So I know in the last 3-game week, he looked very leggy, didn't he, in the Preston home game. So I guess, do you start him? And if you're 2-0 up on the hour mark, do you bring Taylor on to give him a bit of a rest? I guess Bristol City is the harder game going into the 3-game week, so potentially there's an eye on that one as well. But if he's good to go, start him and Morsey, get the game 1 and make subs if you need to. Ladapo, you just mentioned, ex-Rotherham, would probably enjoy going back up there and scoring against them. Has an Achilles problem, so he won't be involved, which, as Charlie D in the chat says there, means Scarlett's probably going to get a bit more game time in the next couple of weeks or so. And surely Tuanzebu's debut will be the Fulham game, won't it? The cup game. He's played in a behind closed doors game this week or something, a mixture of under 21s and first teamers and stuff, along with Christian Walton. So it sounds like he's just about there, but you wouldn't throw him in until he's had that kind of proper experience at the first team level in the cup game. What would you do for focus on Burns' replacement, and would you start Luongo? What would you do both those positions?
I would start Hutchinson because I like the partnership that he's got with Brandon Williams, on the assumption that Brandon Williams is going to start again, and why wouldn't he? So I think for that
like
reason,
you said earlier, it's his shirt to lose now, isn't it?
Yeah, so that would be my logic. And if I'm Massimo Luongo and I'm playing with a smile, as someone in the chat posted earlier, then you'd chuck him in as well, wouldn't you? But I wouldn't be surprised actually if Taylor comes in. I think obviously McKenna's learned a few mistakes from Huddersfield, particularly starting Evans. Obviously, he went off injured, but he didn't really get up to the speed of the game. And maybe McKenna regrets not playing Taylor from the start in that one. And I think Taylor is starting to make that a challenge. And it wouldn't surprise me if, because of Luongo's minutes on Tuesday, he doesn't feature. But I think you go for your strongest team, don't you? And yes,
get it one, and then
it's a 3-game week kind of thing, but it's a weird one because the next game's Wednesday, not Tuesday, and we play on Friday night, so there's plenty of time to recover. The question mark is injuries and all that kind of stuff. But I think that would be my thinking. I think we're in agreement, aren't we? Let us know what you think in the chat as well, and do start mulling over your predictions because that's where we're going to go to next. But worth a few bits and pieces in the chat. Neil, their keeper on loan to us after. Who was he? Mike Pollitt, I think you're after, Neil, who's got a 100% winning run against Ipswich and a 100% winning ratio in the East Anglian Derby as well. So protect Mike Pollitt at all costs. Michael, talking about Rotherham's long ball into the box with Johansson. Big call to change the keeper. I hope not. Well, I think I assume that's who you're talking about, Michael. And I guess obviously we're speculating on the situation about Rotherham's keeper. Obviously not a great situation there, but we can only speculate. So I wouldn't read too much into that. Universe doesn't care. We need trickery, not Jackson Pace. We won't. I'm not sure. We need trickery, not Jackson Pace.
Yeah, I think you'd go for Hutchinson for that moment of magic, wouldn't you? That cut back onto his left foot to get the shot off or get the crossing. I think that's what you go for. And then
he's followed it up. I think we'll dominate the ball, so we need trickery, not Jackson's pace. There you go. I can see them over. I can't see them overcommitting for us to count and perhaps. But Hutchinson is a great option to bring off the bench once we've run them ragged for a bit as well. But Nick's got similar feelings to you. Big vibes from Huddersfield. Expect an ugly game. Trying to drag us down. Hutchinson off the bench when they tire. Yeah, there you go. There's that logic with him. We'll take a single goal, says Nick as well. Michael, can Williams score again? We will find out live on Sky on Friday night. We all love a Sky game these days. Doesn't mean anything like it used to do in the past.
God, in the old days of a Sky game after an international break, we'd be panicking here, wouldn't we? We'd be thinking we've got no chance.
Not anymore. Well, we'll see how we get on, and as I say, we're going to predictions next. So hold that thought for a minute. Bits and pieces of info in terms of the podcast. As always, we're brought to you in partnership with the Greyhound. So do check out the Greyhound ahead of what's the game next week? Is it Plymouth?
Swansea.
No,
Plymouth.
Go on.
Plymouth. Swansea's the next one I'm back for. That's why I'm getting confused. Yeah, it's Plymouth. It's Bristol City in midweek, and it's Plymouth next weekend.
There you go. So
I'm looking forward to the Plymouth preview next week. We'll have to see how many times we can upset people.
Hello, Plymouth fans. Yeah, and we'll we won't be doing a live match reaction after the final whistle on Wednesday against Bristol City, the Mark Ashton derby, because the pre-match will be the next day. So join us live on Thursday, the usual time. We'll be talking about Bristol City, and we'll be talking about Plymouth, and the usual time for the Flagship Show on Sunday, 8 p.m. Seb, you're going on Friday, aren't you? So
I am.
We'll get you as part of the trio that makes up the Flagship Show team on Sunday. A bit of a gap, obviously, from Friday, but join us on Sunday night to go back through it, hopefully with positivity as well. Usual time, usual place. And as always, if you've liked what you've heard or seen, give us a thumbs up. Thank you to the folks on Facebook. I see you over there. Elliot, Mohar, Sam, and Sean. But if you're on YouTube, do likewise. Thumbs up really means a lot to us here. if you're listening on podcast, do give us a 5-star review and give us a text review if you want. We've had some really good ones, so thank you everyone for those. If you want merch, we've got free delivery at the moment. Seb, you got any? Is that merch in the corner there?
Yeah, it's a Blue Monday baseball cap, which
Boom.
I thought I'd positioned correctly, and then as soon as I came into the StreamYard, the caption kind of shrunk and it disappeared off the screen.
Well, you too can get a third
it's a
of
lovely
a baseball
black
cap.
Blue Monday trucker hat, which is very comfortable and very nice.
There you go. And always, if you want to join our Telegram group, the match day chat will be in full flow on Friday. So if you want to get involved in that, a few people have joined us and hopefully they're enjoying it as well. A couple of weeks free trial. If you're finding Twitter and all of these bots that keep liking your tweets and retweeting your tweets a bit of a tedium, then head over to Telegram. It's much more chilled out. It's like Twitter. It's like kind of Twitter and WhatsApp mixed together. But with less nonsense. So come and join us over there. Blue Monday, ITFC.co.uk is our website, and all the links to everything I talk about are available there. Shall we do predictions, Seb? Yes, we shall. We've been waiting 2 weeks, Seb, to talk about the predictions. Finally, some normality is restored to proceedings. Boomtown, 13 points for me last time out, 6 for you, 4 for Sully. Sully has abandoned his Telegram predicting post with his tail between his legs. So thank you, Sully. Elliot, I think has given us a thumbs up on Facebook. So thank you, Elliot. And Ben's out there as well. Thank you, Ben. Has offered himself as tribute to the absolute relentless prediction machine that is me, and to a lesser extent.
I enjoy. I have to share with the listeners, the viewers. I got the Thanos meme saying I am inevitable just after he calculated the latest round of results. So I knew this was coming and has been building for the last 10 days or so. So I'll let him have his moment.
Everyone
I may
loves
have
it.
Peaked too soon.
Everyone loves this banter, especially Mullet. He loves it when I and Craig as well. So yeah, return to the top of the predictions table. Normal order is restored, but the season is young. There is plenty of twists and turns ahead. We will talk about Rotherham Ipswich, obviously the first on the team sheet this week. But any other games, Seb, that are exciting you? I'll leave this up and we'll linger on these games. Any ones you want to mention there?
A couple for different reasons. I think Huddersfield QPR is a big game down at the bottom. And then there's two huge informed sides. Swansea are playing Leicester. So they were kind of the two that jumped out to me. I also had one eye on Stoke Sunderland. Could his ex-club and Tony Mowbray, his replacement, be the final nail in the coffin for Alex Neil maybe? But yeah, Huddersfield QPR, big game. QPR pumped. Was it 4-0? Just before the break, stuck with Ainsworth, so they're clearly going to give him a bit more time. And then Swansea, who've won 4 out of the last 5 or 5 out of the last 5 versus Leicester, who've got similar numbers, is a big game. And I guess we have to look at the Norwich-Leeds game as well, because whilst we all want Norwich to lose every single week, could they do us a bit of a favour here and stop the Leeds-shaped thing in our rearview mirror, which is kind of, we're worried might get a little bit closer.
Worth noting, last time out we played Preston 4-2, by the way. Folk can't remember the last Ipswich Town match, and they face managerless Millwall, or at least managers at the point of recording. They might have made an appointment since we've been on the air, but not a particularly good situation if they haven't resolved that for Saturday, and therefore you kind of back Preston, and we had already had, but you'd probably be even more confident about that situation there. Blackburn Cardiff, I think it's going to be a bit of a goal fest. So I've gone for a 3-2 to Cardiff. They're continuing their fine run. I think Huddersfield QPR will be the game that neither manager wants to lose. So I think it will be a snore fest, a 0-0 there.
I think Huddersfield win.
But on the flip side, I think Hull Southampton could be You've got 0-0 Hull Southampton.
Yeah, I think they'll cancel each other out.
Okay, I'm going for a 3-all. I think it'll be super open now.
2 different ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
I think they'll cancel each other out, to be honest. That was my logic.
Okay. And I'm not banking on Swansea to do us a favour, though they are in form at the moment. Plymouth haven't won. Have you seen this stat about Plymouth? Haven't won a Saturday 3 p.m. away game in a year.
Yeah.
And I don't think
mention that a lot next week, hopefully.
Oh yeah, exactly right. Watford Sheffield Wednesday as well. I'm not predicting a huge amount of fireworks there for their new manager, but I don't.
What have you got for Wayne Rooney's Birmingham?
I have got them losing to Borough. I think Borough home
They're on form
advantage.
now, aren't they? They've clicked Borough, haven't they?
And I've gone for a 1-0 Ipswich Town away victory at Rotherham on Friday. Elliot's gone for a more confident 3-1, and you are going for 2-1 somewhere in the middle, in the Goldilocks zone.
Yeah.
Talk to me. Show me your working, Seb.
They concede on average 2 goals per game. So that's our 2 goals. That's basically science. You can't argue with science and maths. And I think, it's going to rain and it's going to be cold and it's the north and it's night time. So I think they might score against us. That's my logic. Okay. So weather, time of day, geography, and the fact they concede 2 is my workings. This may be why I'm crap at predictions.
Well, there's enough logic in there. Whether it makes any sense, we will find out on the night, obviously. I think it'll be a grotty game, and I think because Sky have picked it, it will be really crap. I also am reflecting a lot of the feedback in the chat of Huddersfield vibes, so I think it'll be a set piece goal, perhaps, a Leif Davis to Connor Chaplin situation, and hopefully we'll see that out. And Elliot's gone for the 3-1, a little bit more confident. So there you go, a 0-1, a 1-2, a 1-3 from the Blue Monday committee. Let's see what folk are saying in the chat. We've got a 2-1 from Nick as well. Single goal win. He'd take that. Eric's going for a 2-0. Michael's going for a 4-2 with all 4 defenders to score. That's the kind of working I want, Seb. None of your weather nonsense and night and all that kind of stuff. Rod's going for a 2-0 as well. Michael's got a consumer advice question about the Blue Monday.
It's mesh at the back. It's mesh at the back, so it's like a trucker's cap.
I think there's multiple options.
There is a solid all the way around option as well.
Yeah, so check out our merch store, bluemonday.co.uk. Sully, welcome Sully. I slagged him off, and here he is to make me look stupid. He's going 0-1 as well, though. So me and Sully, knowledge. You should have done it, Sully. We'd have welcomed you back. Maybe another time. It was just 1-0 on 89 minutes. That's a bit squeaky bum, though, isn't it? But what do I know? Come on, Sully. Go on.
And look, just to say, going into a 3-week game, if we do win, which we're all predicting,
a 3-week game.
A 3-game week. I've got to stop.
It's been 2 weeks, mate. It's 2 weeks.
Yeah, I need to blow off the cobwebs. Going into a 3-game week, obviously, like we're all predicting a win. If we can't do that, then we set ourselves up perfectly for the next 2 games. Bristol City's the harder one, and then obviously Plymouth, who are the best ever footballing side at League One level, who broke every record and are incredible. Next weekend should be pretty straightforward, I would suggest. So if we can get off to a good start on Friday night, then the good times will keep on rolling.
Momentum. Bluey, clean sheet. He's going to showcase how good we are. 3 or 4 without reply to the toe. And Paul Saunders 3-0. Subber gets a hat-trick. Not sure who. Let's go with Davis for some reason. Love that comment. That's comment of the night, Paul. Thank you for that. Neil's going 3-1 as well. I'd go with that as well. Says the universe doesn't care. 3-1. David, surely the media are predicting Wayne Rooney's Brum will win the league. Carbos is going for a 3-1 as well. So is Mark.
3-1's very popular, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Hi to Paul, another member of the amazing Telegram group. Dane Scarlett winner would be nice. David's going for a 0-3 to Rich. 0-3 Rich. #believe. If only I could play the wrong side of 40 now. That's the trouble. Reading tractor 2-0. John Lynch 4-0. Wow, there is some love here for us at the moment. Nick Bruce, Bristol supporting friend, reckons they are poor. We will talk more about Bristol on the Flagship Show on Sunday. Baron's going for a 2-0. The universe doesn't care. Are we at the stage where we are everyone raises their game team yet?
But it doesn't matter, does it? Because we just raise ours accordingly and swat them to one side, given how amazing we are at football.
Clip that for your podcast. Reading Tractor, I think Scarlett will get a good game time and will break his duck.
A lot of love for Scarlett, isn't there? Yeah, he's done okay in a few appearances so far this season, but it's a chance now. If Ladapo is out for a few weeks, obviously the frustration is he can't play in the cup, which is annoying for Scarlett and for us. But if if we need to make that normal change like we do around the 60-minute mark because Hurst has run himself into the ground, then Scarlett could well take a chance here.
And he's obviously played for England's elite team, so he's got to be good, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Is 3-1 the score we never had under Mick? Pass. I don't know. Mark.
No, under McKenna, you're saying.
Oh, under McKenna, is it?
Yeah.
Wow.
3-1. I can't think of any 3-1.
Someone in the chat needs to help us out with that. If that's a great stat, Michael. If that's the case, we will attribute that to you. Surely it's got to happen at some point. And a lot of people say are predicting Friday. So we shall wait and see. We'll be back on Sunday to talk all about it on the Flagship Show. And we'll be back here next Thursday to see whether Seb's logic has got him back to the top of the predictions table. We'll be back after this. If you want any last thoughts on the team or questions or anything, a shout out or anything like that, then you've got a few minutes to do that before we say goodbye. Worth just reminding you that, again, we're in partnership with the Greyhound, best pre-match pub in Ipswich. There you go. I've said it. Back on Sunday for the Flagship Show. Seb and others will figure who is involved in that on Sunday. But do join us live on 8 p.m. for live discussion about the game. On Friday night as well, merch store, get your baseball cap, your trucker cap with or without mesh, multiple options, and mugs and t-shirts and hoodies. And I think maybe beanies as well if you need to start dressing for the conditions. It's crap. Telegram group as well. The Matchday chat will be open from Thursday evening, I think, onwards, but certainly all of Friday. So very worthwhile following the game via that, having that open with a beer in another hand and the TV on in front of you as well. So do join us over there. And as always, please give us a thumbs up if you made it this far, and a review on your podcast app of choice as well. Seb, we'll let you do your usual sign off, but thank you as always for your research. And no one's asked for a shout out.
Just a quick one before we do go. Get your thoughts in the chat quickly. Obviously, going into a 3-game week, we've had 2 of these so far, a 9-pointer and a 7-pointer. What do people think we are going to do in this week? Obviously, this is the first time we've had 2 away games, I think. No, it's not, is it? Sheffield Wednesday, Southampton, and that was 2 away games at the start as well. So I'm interested in people's thoughts. How many points will we take from these next 3 games that are coming up? Away to Rotherham, away to Bristol City, and then at home to Plymouth. Are we going to go for 9 again? What's your thoughts on it?
I will take 7 points.
Obviously.
Is that maths? Yeah,
you
7
win
points.
2 and you draw 1. Yeah.
I think we'll draw at Bristol. I think
that's the vibe I'm thinking.
On Friday. I think we should beat Plymouth something like 3-2 at home or something like that. That's the
Ballymumba double
3-2 or 4-3. Yeah. So I my head says 7. We need Dave here because Dave would say 10 points, wouldn't he?
That was brilliant. Did he factor the Fulham game in as a league game and added it on?
He did.
So that would take us to 35 points from 14 playade. This is
flooding
insane.
in. Neil's gone for 9. Sully 6. Rodder's got lots of 7s. So a lot of people preempting me with a goal. Paul's gone for a Hart says 9. Of course it does. Yeah, look at this. Wow. A lot of head 7.
Okay, Paul. I think 7 is probably the chosen one. Oh, Mikey Penty Smith, keep going down the list there. Mikey Penty Smith is going for 6 points.
So who are we losing?
We're going to lose. We're going to lose to somebody.
Oh, there you go.
Okay,
fine. The weather is a bit crap. Yeah, stay safe, everyone traveling up there and all that stuff as well. So there you go, a big spread, but I haven't seen anything less than 6.
God, we're a confident bunch these days, aren't we?
Oh dear, I don't like it at all. No, 5 from David, but Leicester will only get 3 is his point. That could gesture everything. I know there's that gap, but it'd be nice to just keep that. Here you go, Frank, number 1. 1 point. There you go, Frank. Thank you.
Cheers, Frank. Thanks.
The cherry on the icing, that is that. Thank you, Michael. Let's hope we can start fast, get quicker, and finish at top speed on Friday/Saturday morning for him. Thank you, Eric. Thank you to Mark. I think, there you go. 9. Here come the 9s. We'll finish on the 9s, even if they're wrong. Positivity is what we want, Seb. Thank you, as always, for your hard work. Kieran McKenna has stronger blue tin specs than any of us. There you go. Says Reading Tractor. Yeah, McKenna will be backing us as well. And for good reason too, Seb. You wanted to say happy birthday to someone, but I'll let you just say goodbye to everyone. And then I'll press the button after you've given us your usual salute.
Thank you to everyone for joining in. Thank you for sanity checking my script and making it sound more professional like you do every single week. I must say a happy birthday to my nephew Jamie. He's 14 today. He's not even an Ipswich fan, and he watches this every week, bless him. So happy birthday, mate. I hope you had a good day. Thank you for watching. Everyone enjoy it. Me, Mikey and Ben, I think, are all at Rotherham on Friday nights. If you see us, come and say hello. It'd be great to chat with some of you.
Keep a lookout then for Ben's reaction video probably on Saturday morning as well.
Yeah.
And probably if you want more insight on the Millwall situation, check out Ben's podcast on Thursday night with Sam Parkin, and probably he'll have a 5-10 minute video out, maybe already, But yeah, check out Ben's channel. Lots of great stuff happening there. And now we're in the Championship. It's relevant for us, isn't it? So
here. Yeah, an excellent source of research for my shows, I must admit. Enjoy it, everybody. Here's to another 7 or 9 point week. Go in with confidence. Come on, you Blues.